How does a church choose its brand colors? I had a hunch, but I wanted to be sure. So I asked roughly 140,000 of you on Instagram. Most popular response, as I expected, was preference, basically the color that you thought looked cool, like this church. Next most popular response was value-based. Least popular response was location-based. Now, what if I told you that that's actually my preferred way of choosing brand colors, basically letting the tones and textures of your community nominate the brand? Now, I know that's a bit esoteric. How do you actually do it? Well, we are here right now in Palm Springs. We're about to get in this rental car and drive 30 minutes to Beaumont, California to meet up with Garden City Church. One of you asked me this on Instagram. Can you share how to really choose brand colors? Well, let's hop in the car and find out. Here's what I find curious. Churches will agonize over every single pixel on their logo, right? Oh yeah, the vertical line, that represents the relationship between heaven and earth. The horizontal line demonstrates our church's commitment to the Great Commission and taking the gospel to the ends of the world. And then it comes to choosing your brand colors and it's like, oh, blue looks cool. And look, I don't think churches are purposely trying to be incongruent with their approach here. This stuff is difficult, but by the end of the video, it won't be. Now, this idea actually dates back to 2018. We had launched a new product called StoryTape, which was unlimited stock video for churches. Product still exists today. It's just under the umbrella of Nucleus Media. When we were building the site for StoryTape, we had this novel idea. What if the colors on each page could change based on the stock footage that was on the individual page? And you can still see this today. If you go to storytape.com, you can click on Browse, then click into any scene of clips, and you can see how the tones of the footage are influencing the colors that are on the page. That's not something that we manually add on each page. It's automatically coded into the formula of the site. Should we share this formula with you? Or even better yet, a tool where you can automatically export color codes? Stay tuned. All right, we're at the church now, just about to go in. Here's the principle I need to emphasize to you. Congruency. You think about an Apple store or a Starbucks location, the tones and textures of a Starbucks cafe look and feel just like their branding does online. Same goes for an Apple store relative to their branding. That's congruency. Now, how do churches attempt to replicate this? They start with their brand color that they've probably chosen for no other reason than they like it. So let's say it's orange, 526865 like this church shared. And then they'll get signage and set it up in the church with the same orange. They'll design graphics with the same orange and put them on the screen in service. But what if we inverted this? Instead of coming up with the color first in a vacuum and then trying to impose it onto our building, what if we let the building, where our church actually meets, inspire the colors? Now that's congruency. So let's get to work. Here at Garden City Church, we've got Pastor Brad behind the camera. We're gonna get started here in just a moment. If you're curious, the gear that we're shooting with, we've got the camera bag here. We did a recent YouTube video on that called the Perfect Photo and Video Camera Kit. You can check that out, linked in the description. If a phone is all you have, that's great. We're gonna be taking photos with our phone tonight as well. And we've got another video dedicated to that called the Church Smartphone Photography Masterclass. Importantly, it doesn't matter what gear you have, you can follow the steps in this process. I'm gonna be using both a camera and phone tonight for the sake of demonstration. Now, what if you don't want to use your church's building to motivate your colors? Maybe your church doesn't plan on staying in the building that you currently occupy. Maybe you're just renting right now. I think that there's another argument to be made here, and it's a theological one. Now, churches are local organizations that serve the community that they reside in. A national brand like Target builds their branding around the color red so that no matter where you are in the country, you can recognize a Target visually. A church, though, is more akin to a local cafe or a restaurant that serves the community. And so the idea of being anchored in a community and letting the tones and textures of the neighborhoods that you're serving in be what sets the course for your visual brand, now that's color theory that excites me. So here's the other option for you. I'm back in Palm Springs right now, and what I'm gonna do is take photos of the city. I'm gonna do some aerial work. I'm gonna take some photos on the ground with my phone and camera. And then in the next step, instead of using our church's meeting location to nominate our colors, we'll instead use the city. at home now in the office. I asked my team, remember that tool we made for story tape years ago? Could we publish that and make it available to everyone? And they said, of course we can do that. So you're looking at it now. colors.nucleus.church is where you can find it. It is live. It's 100% free. Here's how to use it. I'll start by uploading an image I took on our visit to Garden City Church. This was taken on my phone. I've already made edits to it, and we just recently published an entire in-depth video on YouTube titled The Church Smartphone Photography Masterclass, dedicated to taking and editing mobile photos with free presets, the exact presets I used on this photo, so go and check that video out. As soon as the photo is uploaded, you'll see a color palette gets generated, and there are a bunch of colors here. Each of these tones is being pulled from the photo itself. I can click through the different palette names to see what different color groupings look like. I can use the vibrancy, saturation, and lightness sliders to adjust the colors to taste. If I scroll down, you will find advanced controls for each individual color. And here's what a quick little brand presentation looks like for Garden City Church when I mock up the colors and the photos next to each other. Now, as much as I like this rust color as a lead brand color for a church in a vacuum, I don't think it meshes especially well with the pre-existing name of Garden City Church. So let's try another photo, this time from a different angle in the sanctuary. And now, the palette we're getting is mostly water, blues, and earth tones, and that is obviously a much better fit for the garden theme. Let's turn the stage lights on in the sanctuary, try another image, and again, blues and earth tones. I like it. And here's how that gets mocked up into a brand presentation. As you can see, a step as simple as this gives us colors for a church brand that don't just look good, they don't just align with the values of the church, but they also come directly from where the church meets. And I cannot overstate how much more cohesive a brand is when we're checking all three of those boxes, not just one or two. You also don't have to use a wide sanctuary shot for this process. While I was visiting with Garden City Church, they mentioned to me that their pulpit was very special to them because it had their logo in the front, and it was made by someone in the church. So I took a photo of just that pulpit, load that up into the color tool, and you could use that to motivate color. And if you were wondering where the red tones came from in the first photo we uploaded, we can see here, it is the wood in the pulpit. And by the way, this is how I anchor mission to color in church branding. We have a similar approach to logo design. If you'd like to see a separate video on that, let me know in the comments below, and we can do the prep work on a video that covers logos. Let's use a church's neighborhood or city to nominate colors next. I spent time taking photos in and around Palm Springs. Here's the first one. This is a photo of a California fan palm tree. This is the only native palm species in the western United States. This color palette evokes Palm Springs vibes on its own, but it's not just surface level. I mean, imagine a church planting in Palm Springs, making a commitment to the area. Hey, we're going to be a church rooted in this community. And then expressing that value visually in their brand colors, being nominated by the only palm tree species natively rooted in the area. I mean, come on, that is cool. And if you're wondering, I actually took this photo with a $15 disposable camera, and we did a video on that disposable photography style in church earlier this year. You can give that a watch. Here's another disposable photo I took, and just like the wooden pulpit, it is the wooden trunk of the tree that's giving us these warmer red adjacent tones that then pair with the blues and the green. And if we're talking Palm Springs color palette, I mean, here we've got the blue for the springs, we've got the green for the palm leaves, the red for the desert. And honestly, that mint green color looks like it's pulled directly from a 1950s kitchen. Palm Springs is home to the largest concentration of preserved mid-century modern architecture in the world. So now, even the shades of color are matching the community that we serve here. And I hope you can see how much more meaning there is to color when we follow this approach. It doesn't need to be arbitrary. Here's the brand presentation mocked up for Palm Springs. Of course, let's say as much as you like that previous color palette, it's just too many colors for a church, you think, for your taste. No sweat. Let's try one more photo. This one I took with my phone. It's mostly blues, very approachable for a church, but this accent color is a deep brown with a green undertone, which I think is really nice. And here's how that brand got mocked up. To be clear, you don't need to use every single color the generator gives you either. If you just like one or two of the colors, extract those and build a brand around that. And if you'd like to work with me and my head of design directly on your church's rebrand, you can shoot us an email to hello@prochurchtools.com. We can book a call, see if it would be a good fit. The color tool can be found at colors.nucleus.church. It's free. It's yours to use. Enjoy. Clapped, 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 clapped. Retina. Corny? What's the difference between corny and retina? I am seeing spots.
And there's a truck stopping over there and wondering what we're doing.
No one is thinking about you. No one thinks about anyone but themselves. I cannot see. Is this good or bad? I'm blind.
No, you son. You stay there, son.
We had an agreement with the sun. Stop talking about the sun! You're not recording, right? Agonize over every single pixel of... This is a really good solution. I did not think we'd find a solution this good. Don't move or don't say anything. Yeah, don't do that.
Or do the face.
I'm cutting off your head a bit.
Well, then, whatever, move it to what you think looks better. Of the stock footage are influencing the pages on the page. The pages on the page. The pages on the page! See how the tones of the footage influence the pages? The pages! Oh, said it again. How embarrassing. Around the color red, so that it matters. Where are all these super monster trucks? Because he's just meeting up his buddy up there, I'm guessing. Yay.